You know those sneakers on your feet? What if I told you they probably exist because of a massive, bitter family feud? This is the wild story of Adidas and Puma. It's a tale of two brothers who had this shared vision, but a betrayal tore their family and their entire town apart. And in doing so, they actually created the modern sportswear industry as we know it.
Yeah, and to say this got intense, well, that's putting it mildly. One person actually called it a family feud of biblical proportion. We're talking Cain and Abel, but with athletic shoes. This was never just about business. For them, it was deeply, deeply personal. So, that's the big question we're going to dig into. How on earth did a nasty fight between two brothers in this tiny German town most people have never heard of end up defining everything from what pro athletes wear to what you see on fashion runways and even the sneakers you collect? Well, to figure that out, we got to go all the way back to the beginning. Because here's the thing. Before the epic fallout, there was this incredible partnership. And to really understand how it all went so wrong, you have to see how, for a while, it went so right. So, it all kicks off in 1924, and get this, in their mom's laundry room. You had Adi, the quiet, introverted genius who designed the shoes, and then you had Rudy, the sharp, outgoing salesman. I mean, they were the perfect team. By 1928, they already had athletes winning Olympic gold in their gear. But their huge, massive break came at the 1936 Berlin Olympics. Adi took a huge risk and convinced the American sprinter Jesse Owens to wear their spikes. And when Owens won 4 gold medals, bam! The little Dassler brothers factory was suddenly a global name. But all that shared success? Well, it wasn't built to last. The very same world stage that made them famous was about to become the backdrop for tearing their partnership and their family apart for good. So what was the spark? Well, the catalyst for the whole split was World War II. You take the incredible pressures of the war, you mix it in with some already tense family dynamics and a growing paranoia, and you get this toxic cocktail that would poison their relationship forever.
It really boils down to 2 key moments. First up, the bomb shelter incident. An air raid is happening, Adi and his family join Rudy's in the shelter, and Adi says, "The dirty bastards are back again," talking about the Allied planes. But Rudy, who's already on edge, was completely convinced his brother meant him and his family. Then came the final straw. After the war, Rudy gets thrown in prison by American forces, and in his mind, there was only one person who could have been responsible. He was 100% convinced his own brother turned him in just to get control of the business.
And after that, yeah, there was no coming back. They split everything right down the middle. The money, the factory, even the employees had to pick a side. Adi took his nickname and his last name and smashed them together to create Adidas. Rudy did the same at first with Ruda, but quickly changed it to something way more aggressive, way more athletic. Puma. The war was on. And look, this wasn't just some memo that went out. This feud spilled out of the factory doors. It completely consumed their hometown, and then it went global. The battle lines weren't just in a boardroom, they were literally on the streets. The way it affected their hometown is just insane. The place got a nickname, the Town of Bent Necks. Why? Because before you would even think about saying hello to someone, you would look down at their shoes. The sneakers they wore told you everything, if they were on your side or if they were the enemy. The entire town was split. You were either Team Adidas or you were Team Puma. So the rivalry just explodes onto the world stage. They are fighting tooth and nail for every team, every athlete, every sponsorship they can get. The bidding wars got so crazy that they actually called a truce. This one rare moment of peace they called the Pelé Pact. The deal was simple. The greatest soccer player on the planet, Pelé, was off limits. Neither of them could sign him.
But come on, in a rivalry this deep, a truce was never going to last. One of the brothers decided, you know what, I'm going to go behind his back and break that pact.
And it was Rudy's Puma that did it. They secretly paid Pelé a staggering $125,000 to wear their cleats. The pact was officially shattered. But it wasn't just about the money, okay? It was the sheer genius of the stunt. In what has to be one of the greatest marketing moves of all time, right before the 1970 World Cup quarterfinal kicks off, Pelé casually asks the ref to hold on a second. The whole world stops and watches, and as every single camera zooms in, he slowly, deliberately kneels down to tie his brand new Puma shoes. It was an ad worth millions on the biggest stage imaginable, and you can just bet Adi Dassler was absolutely losing his mind. But here's the ultimate twist in the story. While Adi and Rudy were locked in this personal death match, they totally took their eyes off the ball. And a brand new challenger, all the way from America, was about to completely rewrite the rules of the game they invented.
And it all started with a number that seems almost laughably small today, $35. That's how much this little American company paid a design student back in 1971 to create a logo for them. That company's name would soon become Nike, and that logo, well, it was the swoosh. See, Nike's playbook was just different. While Adidas and Puma were fighting over product specs and leather quality, Nike was selling an idea. They were selling rebellion, they were selling triumph, that whole just-do-it attitude. They didn't just sponsor an athlete like Michael Jordan, they turned him into a living god. They mastered scarcity to create insane hype, and they transformed sneakers from just being athletic gear into these must-have cultural artifacts. Okay, so let's fast forward to today. What's the final legacy of this whole thing? How did this three-way battle royale end up shaping the world that we live in right now?
Well, if you want to see who won the culture war, you just got to look at the numbers. Nike's relentless focus on brand and story has given them this untouchable lead, especially in the social media age. I mean, their online footprint just absolutely crushes what Adidas and Puma have combined.
But today, each of these three giants has kind of carved out its own territory, and you can still see the ghosts of the brothers in their strategies. Nike still reigns supreme with its epic storytelling and collector culture. Adidas, staying true to Adi's innovative spirit, is all about heritage and high-fashion collabs. And Puma, reflecting Rudy's flamboyant salesmanship, has found its home as the edgy lifestyle brand, teaming up with Formula One and massive stars like Rihanna.
And the brothers who started it all? Their feud was so deep, it literally followed them to the grave. When Rudy was on his deathbed, he actually asked to see his brother one last time. Adi refused to go. Today, they're buried in the very same cemetery in their hometown, but on opposite ends of the grounds, divided forever.
So the next time you go to lace up a pair of sneakers, remember this story. From a family laundry room to a global battlefield, this entire industry was born from the bitter hate of two brothers. Their rivalry is baked into the DNA of the shoes we wear, the athletes we look up to, and the culture we're a part of. It really makes you wonder, what story is your next pair going to tell?